Okay. Is it working? Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining this session. We're happy to have you here. Today, we really want to introduce to you an innovative, unique partnership that is just being set up and starting the rollout, which is Tech4Nature. It's between IUCN and the Huawei Tech for All program. So without further ado, I'll start presenting you the agenda. So we're just going to have some opening remarks just to tell you a little bit about the project, how it started, give you a global overview, and then we'll pass it on to our flagship countries and the flagship sites. So we have 5 flagship countries, China, Switzerland, Spain, Mauritius, and then Seychelles. We'll then have some time for some Q&A, for some questions. And then that will be the time for the closing remarks. So I'll just pass it on to my colleague, Dev, to start now, who's the project manager of Tech4Nature, who's going to give you some opening remarks. Thank you. And then I'll pass it on. Yeah, sure.
Hi, Nadine, can you hear me?
Dev, could you please share your screen? I would also ask and welcome our virtual speakers and ask you to please turn off your camera as you're not speaking so that the speaker is always in the middle. Thank you so much. So please, Tina, if you can just close the camera. Thank you. Turn off. All right. Okay. Over to you, Dev.
Perfect. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm Dev Ayama. As Nadine mentioned, I'm with IUCN's Global Protected and Conserved Areas program in the same team as James and Nadine, who are the in-person facilitators. And I'll be facilitating a bit virtually from here online. Very quickly, we'll give you a quick global overview of the Tech4Nature project. It's a new collaboration between IUCN and Huawei, kicked off in October of last year, with the first private sector partner of the IUCN Green List, and that's Huawei, a leading global provider of information and communications technology, infrastructure, and smart devices. You'll be hearing from Huawei and their Tech for All program just after you hear from us at IUCN. But the Huawei Tech for All program is a long-term digital inclusion initiative for using technology, applications, and skills to empower people and organizations everywhere. A very quick summary of what the IUCN Green List is. It's the first global standard of best practice for area-based conservation. It's a certification initiative with a mission to increase and recognize the number of protected and conserved areas globally that are effectively managed and fairly governed. Very quickly, to give you an idea of the vision of the Tech4Nature project, which is a partnership between the IUCN Green List and Huawei's Tech for All initiative. It's to scale up success in nature conservation through digital technology innovation. It's an initial 3-year partnership, and the goal by the end of those first 3 years is to enable more than 300 protected and conserved areas worldwide to assess and evaluate their nature conservation success. These areas will safeguard and secure and successfully conserve habitats and ecosystems that provide benefits to local communities through fair and effective management and monitoring activities. And the idea is to test and prototype and scale up appropriately the use of technology solutions that can contribute to improving successful conservation outcomes as measured against the IUCN Green List. The IUCN Green List standard will measure and certify impacts and contributions of these 300 protected and conserved areas, 300 sites being the global goal over the 3 years of the project, and their contribution to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. As Nadine mentioned, there are 5 flagship sites, and the idea of the flagship sites is to show and serve as demonstration sites to demonstrate the appropriate use of technology solutions, and that will then inspire an additional 300 protected areas that will use technology as part of the measures to implement the IUCN Green List standard. So just to give you a very quick idea of the 5 flagship countries and the types of themes that they cover. First one will be in China, and we will hear more details from China a bit later, focusing on a particular flagship species, the Hainan gibbon. The other flagship country is Mauritius, focusing on the protection and conservation of marine ecosystems. Thailand for forest ecosystems, and Switzerland and Spain for mountain ecosystems. So the project will engage with IUCN and Huawei country offices and technical partners to provide technology solutions to improve management effectiveness in protected areas. It will guide appropriate use of technology to solve conservation challenges, including the development of a unique benchmarking tool that will use digital technology to help track progress and improvements in the IUCN Green List implementation process. There'll be better assessment, monitoring, and stakeholder engagement processes using the digital technologies that are tested in this project, and these will be scaled up to the 300 Green List, to the 300 sites that will be implementing the Green List. And finally, based on all of this project experience, we will publish a Tech4Nature guidance document for the appropriate use of technology in nature conservation safeguarded by the IUCN Green List. In closing, there's 3 main work streams, the Tech4Nature 5 flagship countries. Secondly, it's about rolling this out to 300 protected areas. And thirdly, about then communicating this through a flagship publication and communicating this to the IUCN Green List community and beyond. Also, just to wrap up, that the Tech4Nature project is a key project that's also helping the IUCN Green List scale up globally. And it links to several thematic areas in the IUCN Green List development plan, including data management, improving efficiency of processes, knowledge development, and finally, ambition and targets of the Green List development plan. Before I hand it over to Huawei, I'll just check with James Hardcastle if he'd like to add anything further to this global overview.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everyone. I just want to very quickly reiterate that this Tech4Nature, it's a partnership. It's not just a project. We have a project, we have some collaborations, but it's a partnership. And the partnership is focused on the appropriate use of technology using IUCN's standards. And those standards go into every aspect of fair and effective conservation, safeguards, and really delivering the results we want to see on the ground. So what we are looking for through this project is to start some momentum that will link to other processes, such as the IUCN Green List, such as even our Red List, such as key biodiversity areas, you name all the different things that we're involved in, to try and see how we can bring technology partners, private sector partners, different actors, and the best way to use technology. It's really put forward as a solution. And I'm sure you're all thinking of, yeah, we could use this and that technology, you know, as a solution for a lot of our nature conservation challenges. What we're trying to do is build up from a focus on area-based conservation, protected and conserved areas, with a particular focus on how technology can be sustainable, can be appropriate. It can be, you know, advance nature conservation, but also social and economic kind of values as well. And that we start to build up a network, a body of practice. We invite new partners. And, you know, the partnerships we have to date are the ones we can share. And we're really pleased to have the IT industry, the IT sector coming to us saying, we want to do this. We want to do the right thing in the right places using IUCN standards. So it's an incredible opportunity for us to start with these flagships, start with this partnership. But really, the cloud is the limit. No, the sky is the limit. We can really use technology in ways, and especially with this pandemic, you know, this Congress is happening because of technology. A lot of the work we've been really tested the last 20 months on how to use technology, but like, you know, baptism of, like, got to do it. We have to find a way, and we have found a way. We've done remarkable things. So I think this partnership is really timely, and I'll hand back over now to our Huawei partners to tell us more, and look forward to any questions later. Thank you.
Thank you. We now pass to the Global Tech for All program with the director, Catherine Du, and the project manager, Zheng Ming. Please. virtually joining us from China.
Okay. So can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Catherine.
Hi.
Please go ahead and feel free to share your screen as well.
So, hello. Thank you so much. Thank you, James, Nadine, and Dev. Thank you very much for your introduction. And I would like to take a few 10 minutes. So please, Zhengming, help me to share our slides. So can you see our PPT or slides now?
It's coming. It's
loading.
It's
sharing.
Yes, perfect. It's
yes,
sharing.
coming.
It's sharing well.
Okay, great then. Okay, thank you all the participants, the offline and the online. My name is Catherine Du. I am from the Tech4All Digital Inclusion Office of Huawei. So I would like to introduce about a few minutes about Huawei as well and Huawei's Tech4All. Next page, please. Tell me.
Yes, you control the slides, Zhengming. So please go to slideshow mode and control it from there. You own the slides.
Yeah, I know, but we do. I know. Okay, maybe I can share it myself. Okay.
No, actually, Zhengming, you have to put it into slideshow.
Yeah, we just save time. We will not give this switch to me. I also invited them as well to control it. Okay, so firstly, I would like to introduce Huawei. Huawei, we are a leading ICT infrastructure vendor and the smart device vendor. We focus on the areas like the ICT infrastructure for the enterprise customer, the carrier customer, as well as to the consumers. So this is all our business about. And Huawei latest ranking, we are now ranking in the top 50 of the Fortune top 50 companies globally. Okay, so Zhengming, you give it to me. Okay, thank you. You keep the sharing, please.
Yes. If there are any issues,
the Tech4All is. Yeah. Is that
I was
all right?
just saying I can. Yeah. That's all right. I can also share it from my end if you would prefer.
Yeah, we better to save time. Yeah, if you can take time.
Right.
Okay, I'll continue my introduction to the audience.
Okay, yeah. I'll share from my end.
So for the company-wise.
Here we go. You are on mute, Catherine.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm on mute now.
Yes. Can you see the screen, the slides?
Is that okay for you? I heard that you will share the slides. Or
yes, I am. Are you seeing them? No, I am sharing them to the audience. Are you seeing them?
Okay. Great. Yeah, great.
Perfect.
As I mentioned, Huawei as a leading ICT infrastructure and the smart device vendor, the vision and the mission of the company is bringing digital to every person, home, and organization, and actually to building a fully connected, intelligent world. So driven by this vision and mission, we have this Tech4All initiative, which is our long-time initiative for the digital inclusion. As we all know that nowadays, although everybody now is enjoying the the benefits from cell phone, from a mobile phone, but still there's lots of people who are lack of digital access and the usage. And for external wise, we would like to use our technology to stimulate and enable the targets of the SDGs. So next one, please. Yeah. Okay, and for Tech4 office, who we are one of the departments internal Huawei, which we fully take advantage of Huawei's portfolio, because as I introduced, Huawei, we have a very comprehensive portfolio of the technologies and products, which is covered from like the device. As I mentioned, we have a smart device, and also we have the pipe, the connection. As I mentioned, we provide as a vendor for all the carriers, and we also provide the information kind of technology and communication technology technology for all the enterprise industries. So we take fully use of this comprehensive products and the technology, and the building aiming at especially focusing on the 4 domains. The first one is education. We're helping to build up a very the equity and the equal kind of equity and the quality of education, and to focus especially on the K-12 students, the teenagers, and the students. And the second one pillar we have focused is environment, where just now Ms. James also mentioned, we feel quite honor and appreciation to partnership with IUCN for this environment protection domain. And for this environment part, first we know that as an ICT vendor, we have to fully take our responsibility. That's why we also have some green technologies to reduce the carbon emission, and also we take our use of technology to help to conserving the nature. And the next 2 domain we focus on also like the health part, especially for the elders and the disabled. And lastly, the last focus domain we have is development, especially for the rural area countryside development. And how we can reach this target of this 4 domain, we think firstly, very important, as I mentioned, we have technology, and we will providing platforms like our cloud platform, and also we have these ICT platforms to help to enable the developers to building up the different app, different applications. And thirdly, we think the digital skills is quite important, and that's why during the partnership between Huawei and IUCN, we also aim to helping improving the digital skills among the conservationists and this conserving nature industry. Next page, please. Okay. So especially for this time, we are gathering, and I'm also happy to gather online on the environment. The idea for us is conserving nature with technology. So we select 3 scenarios, or 3 very typical important scenarios, which they are the forest, firstly, the forest, and the ocean, and lastly is a wetland. And why we select these 3 kind of scenario? Because as my personally also, I'm working in this ICT industry for many years. You are all the experts of this nature, and because we do some insights, and also with our partners, we try to find out that these 3 scenarios, which covers the most, of the Earth, this Earth, and also they play very important role in the nature. And so that's why we said this 3 scenario as one of 3 of our focused ones. And for the benefits, what kind of benefits we can provide from Huawei for this nature conservation? The firstly, to helping this biodiversity. For my later part, you will see many of interesting stories, which we are already have done and also ongoing. Those are helping this improving this biodiversity. And secondly, also helping the scientists and researchers and also the workers in this nature conservation industry to improve their working efficiency or digitalization. Next page, please. Okay, so this is the page which you can see that globally we are now doing many projects which is ongoing, and globally now till now we have helping to protect it 22 protected areas globally. So they have distributed globe not only in Asia Pacific, in Southern Africa, and also in some different areas. So if you are, I know that today we have many different audience globally. If you connect our Twitter account of Tech4 to follow all the progress of this, these different protected areas. Next page, please. Okay. As I mentioned, the Tech4 office is quite, we aimed at helping all these SDGs and enable SDGs technology. So till now, we have different partners globally. Besides in this environment part, we partnered with IUCN, and on the education part, we partnership with UNESCO, which headquartered based in Paris, and also with the industry, like GSMA, even with some of our customers like a Vodafone Foundation, we are partnering up and doing some projects in the field. And we thanks a lot for all those partners. And for the different, besides the environmental part, as I mentioned, 20 plus protected areas, and also we're doing projects, especially in the field for education part. And since we are at WCC, I don't want to highlight this too much. Next page, please. Okay, let's go into the end. It's quite a brief one, but still I should say something about this Tech4Nature. As James mentioned, it's a partnership. So we do appreciate and we believe that the tech can play an important role for conserving nature. Thank you. Thank you, Nadine.
Thanks a lot, Catherine. Okay, great. So now that we've had the opening remarks from both IUCN side and Huawei Tech for All slides, now it's time to get into the real action of the session. So we're going to go to our first flagship site in China, and I'll pass it on to our colleague from IUCN China, Wenjie.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me, Nadine?
Yes, I can, Wenjie. Please share your screen.
Okay, I'm sharing it. Can you see it at this point?
Yes, we can see it. Perfect. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening from Beijing. My name is Wenjie. I'm working for IUCN China office, and it's my pleasure to introduce you the first flagship site of the Tech4Nature program, and it is in China. The flagship site is Hainan Tropical Rainforest National Park. Although it is a relatively new protected area established in 2019, but it's actually the 1 out of 10 pilot national parks in China. And all the protected areas within these national parks has decades of histories, so it has great conservation outcomes throughout the years. And it is the only habitat for our target species, which is the Hainan gibbon. As you can see on the map, the habitats of this species is on the upper right of these protected areas. And although these projects do carry a lot of challenges that inherited to most of the protected areas, the pressure from the tourism, local livelihoods, and infrastructures, it has also a great opportunities for us to do this in this national park. The one thing is that we have a really, really great existing relationship with our counterpartners. And the second one is this counterpartners, Hainan Institute of National Park has received a great amount of support from Chinese government, politically and financially. And also we see that for this species, we can have a really clear technical pathways to do the program. And it brings us to the species itself, the Hainan gibbon. As you can see, it's really, really lovely one, but also critically endangered. So back into the 1985, I suppose, there are only 7 or 9 individuals for this species, but currently we have 5 families and this species through the Vivo technology. So in this flagship site, we propose that we can use the acoustic tracking, which has been widely used in birds tracking and is successfully adopted by a lot of companies and the protected areas. And the accuracy of the birds tracking through acoustic measures can higher than 90%. And we think it's really a feasible way to do it for the gibbon as well. And in this flagship site, we think that we can also, the first thing to put the equipment within this rainforest and also collect the data, the acoustic data through these devices and transform it back to the the platform to analyze this, and we will develop an algorithm to help to identify and analyze the acoustic sounds that of the gibbon, and we hopefully that we can use the sounds to identify each individuals of the gibbon as well. And also, because we have enough data and a really sophisticated algorithm, we think we can share and scale up these things to all the other gibbon monitorings around the world. And we also will have a cloud to deposit our data, and which we are going to cooperate with Huawei is a Huawei cloud database as well. That one will be established in the future throughout the program. And this is a short introduction of our current progress and our future plan. And in 2021, we are focusing on a lot of the paperwork, including the signing the agreement of our counterpartners, Hainan Institute of National Park, and we have successfully done that in August. Some of the groundwork is also started, and we are going to have a meeting during the COP15 in Kunming this August as well. And right after this COP15, we will have our launch event, and we would like to invite all of you, if you are interested, to participate in virtually or in person of that launch event as well. For the 2020, that's where the program is going to roll. We're going to put the equipment device in the field. We're going to collect data, do the algorithm, and share it worldwide. And we hope that, as said by James, this will going to be a great monument that could be adopted in a lot of protected areas, not just in China, but worldwide as well. And this is my presentation. Thank you so much. Back to you, Nadine.
Thanks a lot, Wenjia. This was great. We now go from one side of the globe to the next, and I call upon Rudi Haller, Director of Swiss National Park, to tell us a bit more about Switzerland.
Thanks, Nadine. Thanks for introducing me and inviting me for this presentation. Let's change a little bit the focus. We are from the other side, from the very local part in Europe, in the highly populated Europe, a small area, long time already established. But let's talk about nature, because I'm the director of Swiss National Park. Normally, I start presentations with bracing down, calm down, and look to the nice nature we do have. It's a nice place, and it's about nature. The whole thing, all the Tech4Nature thing about the animals. Time to go there and have a look to it. And now the question is why we act in Tech4Nature. We are an IUCN 1A category protected area, so it's a wilderness area. It takes time, long time, to change things in our park. It's not about 1 or 2 years. It's about research over a long time. Last year we had about 65 research projects going on in the Swiss National Park. All of them produce data. In 1995, it was like this. It was still the booklet and the observer. In 2021, it's 710 terabyte data in the national park cloud itself. We are over the cloud, as you have seen in the previous image. So it's a cloud by its own, the national park cloud, and we get a lot of data every day. Checking data, checking the incoming data, and have these things up and running. And as you have seen before, this nice image here with the alpine chamois is not important for me at the moment. These two poles are important because they are part of a network of trap cameras which have produced 2 million images up to now since about 4 years. And we have to process these images to get an overview about population size, about age distribution, about things we would like to collect. And one example is this European lynx image. The picture was made in 5th May 2020, and we found it out 15 February 2021, so a couple of months later. So in conservation issues, it's not important. What is then important to make it real time? Because we have this wildlife occurrence monitoring system called WORM in the park. We have established it. Every park ranger is working half a day per week on the things, because they have the knowledge to know it. Artificial intelligence is not as good as the park rangers are up to now, so we would like to learn it within this program. That's what we like to do. And the vision for 2024, not 2021, is that we take the photograph, we evaluate it, we get the information, and we do the storytelling, the knowledge at the same day. That's the vision for 2024 for us. What we need for that is connectivity. You have seen now, sometimes it's interrupting, even in Marseille, in the middle of a town. And you can imagine in a park, in a remote park in the Alps, it's not as easy. And we need AI and machine learning systems to evaluate it faster and at least as precise as the park rangers. That's the two things we need. So to get this on a real, we have two pilot studies, case studies. Would like to work on this artificial intelligence thing. That's not the red deer, it's not the chamois. And we would like to improve the connectivity from our meteo stations. And then we can go to other things like GPS collars, transmission, to remote sensing, to visitor census data. That's all the ideas we do have in developing the park further. That's the idea. So the final idea for us, working with technology since 100 years, is to improve data availability for information, knowledge, and narration in protected areas, to help other partners in this project to improve their quality, to quantify, explore, and promote the values of the Swiss National Park. That's what we work on. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Rudy. That's been very inspiring. Now I'll pass it on to our colleagues from IUCN Spain to tell us a bit more about what's happening in Spain around Tech4Nature. So please, Arnau.
Hi, hello. Is it working? Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Very excited with this project. I'm Arnau Teixidor from IUCN Mediterranean, so we work in the whole Mediterranean basin in different projects. And today I'm going to show you what we are doing in Spain, and especially what we are working towards doing in the next month. So the Spanish focus is on predatory visitation. I guess it's something that it's happening all across most of the places around Europe, the US, maybe in other places as well. But based in Spain, there has been a growing trend towards increased visitation in protected areas. It was basically coming from a long-term trend, and then with COVID, it has been quite dramatic. Many news, local, international, national, has been about that in the last month and the last year in Spain. And it's coming from trends from the last years with increased visitation and the resourcing in parks. And as I was mentioning before, with COVID, it has get much worse, especially in parts that are next to urban areas and in mountain areas, especially on weekends and in specific places. It has been quite dramatic, as we can see in these pictures. There has been many accidents, so many issues related to that. There were several reports that were done by the Ministry of Environment, commissioned to EcoUnion, that actually is going to be working with us in the project about how to avoid overcrowding in national parks. From IUCN Met standpoint, we have been working with this issue about tourism, visitation, and protected areas for a long time, mainly around developing alternative offers for visitors in protected areas via several European projects and Mi Network. At the same time, we have been implementing the Green List program in Spain for a few years. At the moment, there are 2 pilot sites already approved and in the process of renewal, and actually one of them is one of the sites of the project. just an overview of how we're approaching the project in Spain and what's the focus. So the approach we take was to consult basically with a network of parks that were involved in several initiatives, among them the Green List, understanding their needs and what type of issues they were facing. And there was a consensus that visitation was and managing these visitors was the main one. So we decided to focus the project on that and work with parks that they put themselves forward to be in the process. And along that, working with managing authorities that we already had relationship with, and taking advantage of baseline studies already existing, as well as many project areas already had trialed, and many times not embedded into their processes, different technological solutions that were hopefully, that with this project we can have better integration and embed it into their management. And as I mentioned in the beginning, there is a strong policy and public interest in this topic, so I believe it's actually an added value of focusing on this topic. For the project, we are starting to work with these 4 parks. 3 are national parks. One is a natural park. Just to give you a quick overview, we have Sant Llorenç del Munt. It's very close to Barcelona, one of the parks that it's having lots of weekend daily users and lots of issues with overcrowding, managing of cars. We also are going to work with Guadarrama, a similar situation, very close to Madrid. Second oldest national park in Spain. Again, like massive issues with overcrowding. Second with most visits in the country, and then a bit in the middle, let's say, of the road, Sierra Nevada as well, a green listed park next to Granada in southern Spain. Again, not a massive urban area, but as well with lots of human activities happening. And finally, the oldest park, project area in Spain, Monte Perdido in the Pyrenees. That more remote, more isolated, but again, especially in specific places, specific times of the year, they're having massive problems to manage visitation. So this is a bit the way to frame it. So we have more parks that are more related with urban areas, with type of visitors different from more remote mountain parks that have another type of visitors. And the idea is to work with these parks, go with Huawei Spain. Unfortunately, they didn't have the chance to be here. My idea is to go through the types of solutions they have tested and see how to find like business models that they can embed some of these systems into their work. At the moment, the one we are in a phase 1, these next few months, we are basically working with the parks trying to understand their needs, the type of solutions they have already used, and what can be feasible in a way for long-term change, not to have like one-off testing or piloting, but to have actual solutions that they can embed into their process. And we're expecting after that to have a second phase of testing and implementing specific solutions. I think I'm going to go into more detail most of the time, but yeah, that's a bit our timeline. So this next 6 months, understanding well the issues, working with Huawei, with their engineers to understand which type of solutions can be put forward, and then entering a second phase of seeing what can be happening on the ground. So that's all for me. Thanks a lot for that, and yeah, looking forward to the project.
Thanks a lot, Arnau. That was great. Yes, perfect. Thank you. We now are going to go to the Western Indian Ocean. So we're going to go to Mauritius with our colleagues from EcoMode Society. Nadine Nazurali, please, are you here? Can you turn on your camera and share your screen?
Hello.
Hi. We can hear you. We can see you. It's good.
Yeah.
Welcome to the session.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Nadine. Thank you, the team. Thanks for the invitation. And let me share. Presentation. Yeah. Can you see it?
It's loading. We're seeing a black screen. Can you please try sharing it once again? Now we see it. Now it's perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, yes. Please put it in slideshow mode.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. So thank you, everybody. Well, I'm Nadim Nazrali from Mauritius. past 10 years. And this project will definitely involve technology and AI development for reef restoration in the Western Ocean island Mauritius. So we're a small island, roughly around 300 kilometers within the EEZ and 1.9 kilometer in additional sea space. And on top of that, we are a touristic destination. Before COVID, we had 1.3 million tourists coming to the island. And we have a high biodiversity degradation, sedimentation, climate change impact, sea level rise, and all these are contributing to the degradation of the lagoon and the seas around Mauritius. And not only this, some sites we do have hope where we have been working on several restoration projects. And just go to the next slide. This is the site in the southeast of Mauritius where we are attempting this, where this project will be based, where you have more, it is basically to be green list, and we have 220 kilometers square of area and highly visited tourists and locals. The site is not protected area right now and requires urgent attention given the amount of biodiversity it contains and its importance in maintaining the ecosystem functions over the place. In fact, we have 61 species of macroalgae in that location, 110 species of corals that are found, 132 species of fish so far identified and living there, a high diversity of nudibranch, sea slugs, limaces de mer, like we call that, found all over Mauritius, which are concentrated in that place. And in fact, the highest density of plankton in Mauritius and several species of endemism around that location. Nevertheless, the site has been badly affected over the years: overfishing, sea level rise, rising temperature, coral bleaching, among others. And now we have the crown of thorns starfish predation over the site. And we have so far attempted coral farming over the site, where we have successfully restored more than 15,000 fragments using the conventional way. Now the project consists of placing camera system and using AI to capture the growth rate of corals, the diversity of fish surrounding those sites, because this has never been attempted, and we are going to use a technology to assess the successfulness of this restoration over that site. And being a small island, we are 60 kilometers by 30 kilometers. We have done a research. More than 80% of Mauritians, in fact, don't really know swimming. In fact, if you don't know what's in underwater, it will be difficult and I would say impossible to conserve, because you don't really know the corals, you don't know the species down there. And then with our partners, Huawei and Mauritius Telecom in Mauritius, we are going to develop a website specifically for this project, and that will be played upon the national television. You will have all this aspect, and also a mobile application where you can have the aspect where you can see the growth rate of corals and we can monitor. And then there's this scientific approach where we'll assess the growth rate using these applications. And so far, this is what we have done using nurseries and using coral fragmentation techniques with Professor Baruchinkevich and also Dave Vaughan for microfragmenting. And we have conserved these areas, supporting livelihoods for fishermen. We have a large amount of fishermen in that area, and we want to englobe them together in this project. So far, the project timeline, where we are, and we have the necessary permits from the Ministry of Environment, from the Ministry of Blue Economy, and now we are in the line of purchasing the high capacity camera and also developing the software, the applications where you can eventually see within your mobile phone the biodiversity surrounding those sites and also the attempt of coral restoration. So far, it is a lengthy method of assessing how the rate of coral growth. But then using this application supported by Huawei Tech4Nature, we'll be able to have a larger scale for coral farming and for restoration, basically. And then it will capture the growth rate, it will give us these data, and this will be used, because right now in the changing world, in the changing climatic conditions, and the species where we used to plant 10 years back, the same location, there's a change in those species diversity and also species generally, and also the aspect of species surrounding that site. What is happening with a timely basis, and also project for the future restoration around the island, not only in Mauritius, but also in the Western Indian Ocean, because we have several islands where the Mascarene Plateau, for example, which shares the same aspect, several species together. So this will be definitely one of its kind of project where we aim to restore a large amount of corals and biodiversity, but also project in the long term how it is changing. And yeah, it's a bit on this project. Thank you. Thank you, Nadine.
Thank you, Nadim. All right. So this wraps it up for our presentations for today. Before we pass on to the questions and answers, I'm just going to invite Tony Caradona physically to tell us about Seychelles, about the session tomorrow, where he's going to present about our case study and our new solution we're developing there. Please, Tony, you have 30 seconds.
That's good. So what we did is we created the third wave of digitalization, a blockchain-based, zero-carbon, sustainability blockchain-based solution to support protected areas all over the world. The first series is out. Nature Seychelles have worked with us together, and the two next series will come out live tomorrow. Come and join the session, and we have 6 more series already lined up for protected areas all over the world. Thank you, Nadim.
Session details? Just say
The session details, it's the time is, James will know that.
1400, the biggest hall, biggest screen in Marseille, in the plenary room H1, 1400. Be there or be square.
Thanks a lot, Tony. Thanks a lot, James. Okay, I now pass it on to all of you. Thank you for joining us here for questions and answers. Please. Our speakers are also online, so if you would like to ask a specific speaker, you can also do that. Yes? You can come here.
I'm just wondering if any organization besides the green list can apply for any technological support if we are also IUCN member or we are registered in many other networks.
Thank you very much. James, would you like to answer that?
Yes. Please get in touch. Yes, this is an initial partnership with an initial focus on what we can deliver in a time frame and with the kind of the framework, but we're interested in outreach, amplification, and this is, like I said before, it's a partnership, it's not a project. So we're looking for exciting ideas that people can bring, that we can make the connections with our partners, bring in new partners and advance things. And I encourage you to come tomorrow at 2 o'clock. This blockchain-based method is something else that's new. That is looking for partners, so there are opportunities there as well already.
Please contact us at greenlist@iucn.org to get in touch. Thank you. Other questions? All right. So if that was all for the questions, I will then invite Phil Hurt from Huawei Europe, the Director of Communications and Public Affairs, to give some closing remarks. Phil, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nadine. Firstly, I think as an ICT company, just my apologies for the connectivity problems. It would be remiss of me not to say that maybe Marseille could do with some good 5G, but that's another topic for another conference probably. But thank you for inviting me to make a couple of closing remarks here. Just a general kind of observations really from Huawei's perspective, particularly in Europe. I'm the head of the comms in our Brussels office in Europe. and I know most of you have probably been here for a few days now, but I've actually just broken my holiday to come here and attend today. And actually I've been driving, I know that's not the most friendly thing to do at the moment, but I've been driving a little bit through Europe on my way back to Brussels, and I made a few notes really about where I've been. So if you'll allow me, I'll share a few highlights. So I drove last week from Lisbon to Salamanca, and I drove through the Sierra de Estrella Natural Park. Saw golden eagles, buzzards, black kites, oak pine trees, fields of heather, juniper. In Spain, I went through the plains of Spain, as my colleague was outlining there. And I saw the flocks of the white storks, some vultures, wetlands, woodlands, fantastic scenery. Then into Catalonia, where I could see the peaks of the 40 extinct volcanoes in the Zona Volcanica Natural Park. Fantastic. And then I crossed into France, of course, to get here. And I drove through olive fields, cypress hedges, pine groves, and then into the Camargue, the wetlands, the largest river delta in Western Europe, I believe, home to over 400 bird species. Sea lavender, which I didn't know what it was, but then I found out it was sea lavender. It looked a little bit like lavender, but it wasn't lavender. Sea lavender. And the wild horses, and I actually saw some flamingos. And then, of course, I was eaten by some of the worst mosquitoes you can experience in Europe. So my point is not to bore you with my holiday. My point is that in 6 days, in 3 countries, just over 1,500 kilometers, I've managed to see an almost unimaginable array of flora and fauna here in Europe, with virtually no effort on my part. So the biodiversity is staggering, and that's what we're here to talk about. But it's under threat, of course, across all areas of this continent, and that threat threatens our existence as well. The threats to our biodiversity, climate, health, and economies are all intrinsically linked, as far as we're concerned. The natural parks I travel through, they're not there by chance. They're there because we've recognized the importance of preserving the wildlife on our planet for humankind, and they're there because many partners, governments, NGOs, private companies like Huawei and others are committed to this cause and are working every day in collaboration. That's the key. Nature doesn't know international boundaries, it doesn't have borders, and our efforts to protect it shouldn't either. That's really the point of this partnership from our point. And I hope the earlier presentations will have shown you that we at Huawei are not just committed to this cause. We're absolutely passionate about it, and through our Tech for All and our Tech4Nature projects in partnership with IUCN. So many people believe that technology and all it embodies is the root of our problems in the world. But we at Huawei believe actually it's a solution. Technology doesn't exist on its own. It's a tool for us humans to use for good. It can help indirectly, as James was saying, by enabling rural economies to flourish and find work and business without encroaching on natural areas or having to use the scarce resources and destroy the biodiversity. But it can also help directly, as you've seen, with AI, data processing, cloud computing to monitor and protect the flora and fauna. So Huawei, through our expertise and innovation, will be constantly expanding our partnerships across the world in the coming months and years to protect the planet's diversity, working with IUCN, finding other partnerships, as you were saying, welcoming any suggestions to tackle the climate change and combat the greatest challenge that we're facing now as a world. So we're sure that together, specifically through our Tech4Nature partnership with IUCN, we can achieve this. Thank you.
Thank you a lot, Phil. James, I'll hand it over to you for a last word.
Thank you very much. Please get in touch at greenlist@iucn.org, or Huawei's got great outreach and communications. Get in touch directly with them. Get in touch with other partners, especially local ones. Support what they're doing. Ask questions. get engaged. And I'd just like to reiterate, this partnership is about standards, it's about appropriate use of technology, and it's about learning and sharing those experiences and those solutions. And so we hope that we're at the start of this partnership, and that we'll continue to grow and have more and more to showcase and better ways to communicate it, more stable internet connections, and really be able to keep this momentum that we have, keep it going. So just thanks to everybody for your time. Thanks to all our presenters. And again, I'll just plug, tomorrow we have this event at 1400 in the plenary, where we'll be sharing some of these solutions and some new, quite exciting links with blockchain technology as well. So please come to that as well. Thanks very much. Thanks to the team. Thanks to everyone online. And have a great evening.
Thank you, everyone. Just one last thing from my end. We are working now, we are developing at the moment the Tech4Nature web hub. So please go visit it. It's Tech4Nature at IUCNgreenlist.org. Thanks once again for joining, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Can you please remove the banner? Thank you.